Hey everyone, RogueGold here, and today I want to talk about the finale for Year 4 of the Division 2 and what it sets up for Year 5. Before we get any further, do be warned that this video will contain full spoilers for the Season 11 finale that went live yesterday, and additionally, I do also want to talk a bit about the Recruited novel that came out last year, so if you care about spoilers for either of those things, just be warned that this video will be fully diving in there. But yeah, as I said, the finale dropped yesterday, and other than the progression bug, which was very unfortunate to have occur, there were a lot of big surprises and some big teases about where the story seems to be heading into Year 5. And I think it's all setting it up for a very epic story to take place. So I want to talk about it all. Without further ado, let's get into this. Alright, so after playing through the Stovepipe Prime Manhunt Target mission and the Epilogue mission that comes afterwards, I am happy to say that I'm very satisfied with Season 11. I think, both it and Season 9 went in different directions. They were kind of pursuing different themes, but both of them were pretty on par with my enjoyment of them, definitely more than Season 10. And both of those two missions were awesome. Specifically, obviously, in the first one, you have the whole thing that the Stovepipe, pursuit is a decoy, and that was very cool to find out. Also, of course, the Sparkle boss fight was super awesome. It was so surprising to see that Warhound jump out of the helicopter, start, spitting flames. It was really cool. Did I wipe a bunch of times there on Heroic? Yes, but we don't have to talk about that, because then afterwards we head back to the White House. It's under attack. It's just, the siege is happening. You see the bombs going off in the distance. You fight the Razorback. It was just such an epic amount of scale, and I think this is a great premise for how we can see the story evolve into Year 5. I hope that we continue to see more events like this, more climactic moments, because it was really, really cool and really fun to play through this stuff and just see it all happen and unfold right in front of us. There were some pretty major repercussions. We lost Captain Lewis, who of course was a big character throughout Year 4. The Black Tusk stole the bioreactor, which is pretty funny because it's just been sitting in the White House ever since the Pentagon, and nothing ever really happened with it. Chernenko also never really showed up, so I don't know if they either took him or if we're going to see him more in Year 5, but they also, we do know for sure that they kidnapped a bunch of our people, Vikram Malik, Mari, Cindy, so there's a lot of stakes that have been added to this conflict heading into the first season of Year 5. And that's kind of what I want to talk about, because I think the overall setup and teases for Year 5 that we get here are what intrigue me the most. The very last comm that you receive for Season 11, where Natalia is finally directly addressing us, was super cool to hear, and she finally basically confirms the entire Black Tusk organization and her specific motivations. So I want to play this quick part of the comm so that you can hear it for yourself.
I'm going to make my intentions very clear. This city, this country, this world belongs to us. We will take what is rightfully ours, and there is nothing you can do to stop us.
And there you have it. We pretty much suspected this, that their ultimate goal was control and domination. She says over the entire world. I don't know how they plan on scaling that when they've had so much trouble just locking down some of these regions, but with the amount of resources that the Black Tusk have, it's pretty obvious that they're going for that kind of an objective. And it was pretty chilling to hear it straight out of her words. So, and it was also, I thought, pretty hilarious when she said, I have the Black Tusk, I have the True Sons, I have the Hunters, compared to you all, who are civilians chasing water bottles. That was a great line, because it is very true. The power imbalance here is vast, and I hope we kind of continue to see that struggle there, because especially with the White House attack at the end here, it's very obvious how vulnerable we really are. Even though our player is super powerful, we don't have a lot of resources at our disposal, so I hope they continue to play that up in Year 5. And of course, the ending of that comm is super great, where she just says, Agent, I hope to see you soon. And all of this just reaffirms my hope and theory that Year 5 is indeed the conclusion of this storyline that's been happening since Season 3, but also you could really say since Wony with Keener, because we know he's going to play back into the story in Year 5, but specifically since Season 3 when we saw Barden talking to Natalia. That's when we were introduced to her, that's when we went after him in his own manhunt, and now obviously he was the main target of this assault in Season 11, so a lot of these through lines are finally coming in, and again, I really hope that Year 5 is the culmination of all of that, and that the DLC that we know is coming at the end of Year 5 really focuses on that final confrontation, because this story deserves that scale and presentation that a DLC can offer that we don't really get from these manhunts. Season 11 did a great job of utilizing what is already in the game to give us that kind of scale with the assault on the White House, but that's really a one-time thing. You can't use that again and again, and for something as big as this conflict that they're setting up, it really needs that new DLC, so I'm hoping that that is the main premise of where we're heading in Year 5 Season 4. And after this, I've already talked to some people, and I had similar thoughts that everything that we learned here kind of teases and plays out more of what we can expect in Season 3, which is right before Season 4 in the DLC, with Aaron Keener. More connections to his actions in Woney, why he did what he did, why he was setting up that missile to hit New York. He says when we go to confront him at the very end before he dies, he says, "You have no idea what's coming." And for years now, everybody's been like, was that really just kind of a blank tease? Was there really something he was implying? And I think, my guess at least, what we're going to learn throughout Year 5, but specifically in Season 3, is what he knew that we didn't know was coming. Was he aware of Natalia's ultimate motivations and how she plans to achieve them? Because that's really still the big question mark. Is she's captured these people, she's taken the bioreactor, but what is her plan for global domination? That's the real question, and he seemed to apparently know something about that. At least that's my guess. Lauren Stone, who is the narrative director on the game, mentioned over on Twitter that this part of the finale of Season 11 offered another tie-in to the Recruited novel. Obviously, all of Season 11 has been referencing the events of St. Louis, which was another event that happened in Recruited, but she said there was apparently another one, and upon going back, my best guess is that they are referencing when they talk about how the Shade server went down, and they, the Black Tusk took down the network remotely. I think that is all tied into the concept of the Shade cores, which was something that was dealt directly with in Recruited. And the basic idea is that there are these 3 cores across the U.S. There's one, I think it was in Kansas, then there's one in Texas, I think, and in like North Dakota. So right along the middle of the country and up and down along the latitude there. And basically those cores are the thing that is maintaining the Shade network. And if those go down, we no longer have Isaac, we no longer have our skills, we no longer have any of that. So when it says that they remotely targeted the global Shade network, my guess is that that is what it's referring to. And so potentially that could be a logical reason for us to actually have a new place to visit in the DLC, focused around one of those 3 Shade cores. It could be, a lot of people are saying that they think Brooklyn is going to be where the DLC is. That makes sense, certainly, because of the picture that was shown on the roadmap and also the feasibility of putting together a map that was already partly done in Division 1. It would be more logical with some of the resources that we know the team has on hand. But narrative-wise, why are we going to Brooklyn? Is the Black Tusk really going to have their final stand in Brooklyn? I mean, what's there? I don't know. Could certainly happen, but I also think it is possible that we could be visiting an all-new location at either one of these Shade cores or something else that is key to Natalia's ultimate plan for this global domination that she talks about. And certainly getting a whole new state or region for this map, I'm not saying an entire state, but a location set in a new state and a new part of the country would be insanely cool, and I think it would drive a lot of interest for both players that are currently playing the game or people that want to come back to return to the Division 2 and check it out. But regardless, there is a lot that has been teased. I'm really excited to find out more about a lot of these things. I want Schaefer to finally wake up. He's been in a coma for a long time. We finally need to know what he knows. I'm excited to learn more about if the Black Tusk have any plans with that bioreactor, or if that's them just kind of tying up a loose end. What's going to happen with Keener. Really can't wait for Season 3 to find out more about what those revelations are, because I think they're going to be very prevalent to the current story and conflict that we are in. And of course, I want to know what the DLC's premise is. Is it going to be this final confrontation? Are we headed to some all-new location to tackle that? Or could it be in Brooklyn? So many possibilities, but this all just makes me far more excited than I was before for where the story of Year 5 specifically is heading. I very much hope you all enjoyed the video. If so, a like would be greatly appreciated, and be sure to click that subscribe button as well as turning on the notification bell so that you don't miss out on any of my future videos and uploads. Let me know your thoughts. If you've played through the Season 11 finale, what was your reaction to the missions? What do you think about the kind of story conclusions that we got there? What do you think about what it sets up for Year 5? How do you see the story shaking out as we head into these next 4 seasons of content and story? If you want to stay connected with me and keep chatting about this stuff beyond the comments, be sure to check out my Twitter and Discord links in the description down below. But that is all I've got for today, everybody. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. RogueGold. Ow.